Hello, welcome to Tarot Time on Does It Resonate with You? This is a part of our new format. We have taken the show and made it into more digestible pieces. So this is part three, so to speak, of this week's show, Tarot Time. And because we've given it a little more time, we're going to be able to do two cards instead of one. And then stick around to the end because we got a little surprise for you on the website. And before we even go any further, please, we're trying to get to a little bit higher percentage of people who watch that are subscribed than aren't. So if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, I think we'd really appreciate it. We
And
would
if
love
you regret
to
it, you know what? If you hit subscribe, if you regret it, you can always unsubscribe.
That is also the truth, right? That is also the truth. So, and frankly, there have been a couple of Zelda creators that some of them are a little out there for me. Anyway, Tarot Time. So what have we got today? I'm so excited.
I gotta show you something first. So I've signed up for Hay House's quarterly tarot and oracle card box shipment, and I just got this. It's a little itty bitty version of my favorite card deck, and the cards are so small and cute. So this is my new go-to deck. I mean, it's always been my go-to deck, the larger version, but now I've got a mini version that
is that about the size of like playing cards?
Even smaller. And
it comes, wow.
Yeah, it comes in a tin. So it's a metal tin that it comes in.
Cute.
Yes, very cute. So
and the good news is you have the book that goes along with the big deck, so that when you try to read it, you'll be actually able to actually see it.
Right.
I mean,
when I travel or when I'm doing a reading out somewhere, I'll bring the little one, and for what I do at home or when I do email readings or Zoom readings, I'll use the big one.
There you go.
So I am ready for our first card of today is the Knight of Swords. So I did a reading for myself this morning, and it was one of those readings where I really needed to pay attention because things were kind of wonky. And so the first card that I want to show you is the Knight of Swords. In my own reading, this ended up being the third card in the series. So I do what's working for you, what's working against you, and then your most likely outcome. So this was the most likely outcome card. And this is the Knight of Swords. So this card is haste or streamlined decision-making, saving the day, pursuit of excellence, and doing things quickly. So the mantra, remember I use Chris-Anne's, where's my book? I use Chris-Anne's deck here, the Lightseers Tarot. And the mantra in here says, for this card, I move quickly to help others, and as I do, my dream expands. So who is this guy? Who is this Knight of Swords? He can turn on a dime. He has no doubt about his logic, and he succeeds. So when I was dealing with what I was dealing with the last few days, when I saw that, turn on a dime, no doubt about your logic, no doubt about your decisions, and you succeed, I'm like, that's my man. That's what I needed to hear. I needed to hear you need to be able to turn on a dime, change your focus, have no doubt about your decisions, and then succeed.
And boy, we've all of us have gotten really big lessons about pivoting in the last few years, haven't we?
Yep. And sometimes it hurts. Sometimes you have to leave something else behind. But when you're confident, can move quickly, and have no doubt about your decision, succeed, right?
Well, I mean, right? Because there's a lot to that. Seeing as we have a little more time than we normally do for Tarot Time, I'm going to offer a little insight to what you're saying, and just something that I see is that if you don't move quickly, you can get distracted, right?
Right.
If you're not moving quickly, you can get distracted. You can stop to see the sights, and the next thing you know, the focus, the mission, the end game, whatever you want to call it, is no longer in view, And oops,
Yep. Then it becomes the treadmill.
there you go. There you go. So yeah, that's amazing. Wow. I mean, I
When-
think it's really interesting. I'm gonna. We need to figure out and probably do the work to separate tarot time, much like I mean we're doing it now going forward. Um, because I am really noticing that while maybe I'm not remembering the cards yet, like because I don't really use them a lot, tarot cards. I am understanding them more as
Good.
we're talking.
Yep.
I'm connecting to the energy of them better.
Cool.
So it's getting easier for me to see and understand, you know, not just the flat meaning of the card, and by that I mean the flat picture that's on the flat card on the, you know, on the flat table, but that more that broad and more
Right. The bigger
encompassing
picture.
energy, the bigger
Yep.
picture of the card. So that's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay,
I've
so
mentioned this before, but quite often in a reading, one of the court cards, which would be a page, a knight, a queen, or a king, can represent in a reading someone rather than just a concept. So quite often when I'm doing a reading, especially if it's a larger reading with more cards, if I get a court card, I might say, this particular person is going to be someone in your life who might be able to come in quickly and help you with your decision. So in this case, you know, the Knight of Swords, if he came up in a reading for someone else, I might say, you have someone that can come in quickly and or someone who makes really snappy decisions but does a really good job and is very logical. Like, oh yeah, that's my, you know, fill in the blank. That's my
oh
partner,
yeah, right.
right?
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
quite often a court card will say that person is going to be helping you with this, or maybe telling the person I'm reading for, go seek out that person and ask them for their advice because I think they are going to be able to help you discern the direction to go.
So what you're saying is if a person draws the Queen of Swords, they should come and see me.
Absolutely. If you draw the Queen of, if you ever get a Queen of Swords in the reading, that's an immediate message to call Angie.
Oh, gosh,
Like you
that's
should
so
just
funny.
create a deck and have your phone number right on the Queen of Swords.
Right? Oh, that's amazing. Wow, what fun this is.
Yeah, this is fun.
Anyway, okay. So we have the Knight of Swords.
Yep. Oh, I want to mention one more thing about him. So in it, when done, when the Knight of Swords goes too far, if he's overdone, that would be someone who's rash, impulsive, and unpredictable. That's kind of the shadow side of the card. So
Oh, okay.
sometimes, especially if I get a reversal, I'll say, oh, okay, this card is reversed. We're going to use the shadow meaning, or we've pushed it a little bit too far. And then you get like impulsive and unpredictable. So that's where this card can be, you know, on the shadow side.
And it okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here.
All right.
But if you were to draw that with the Tower card, that might be telling the person you're reading for to heads up, you could find yourself being rash and impulsive and unpredictable. Be careful.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. If I got those two cards in a reading, if the Tower was
reverse
in the reading,
now.
Yeah, the Tower's in the reading, that's going to even push me further to more to read the next card as a shadow card. And so
Oh, okay. Right. So like a head, because the Tower is a heads
yeah.
up.
Yep.
It is a heads up. That means you have time to take action.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's amazing. Ooh, I'm getting good at this. That's funny. I you know, I'm always the first one to admit that I don't have a grasp of the Frank Tarot. I'm getting there. I'm learning it, but and I've always been fascinated by it. I've taken classes, but it's conversation is how I learn.
Good.
So
well, then then we're doing the right thing.
There you go. Okay.
All right. So we do our second card for today.
I think so.
All right. So again, this was a reading I did for myself this morning, and I got ironically, the Knight of Wands. So I got the Knight of, my reading this morning was the Knight of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Knight of Swords. So quite an interesting reading. But the Knight of Wands, the mantra for that card is, in the pursuit of the imagined, I manifest this fire with the infectious feelings of inspiration. So this is the charisma, passion, spontaneity, pursuing your dreams, fast energy card. So you'll notice that the Knight of Swords is fast decisions, fast logic, and the Knight of Wands is fast action. So pursuing inspired action, the pursuit of adventure. So the knights are all kind of like the fast X, the fast something kinds of cards.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. What I got from this reading for myself this morning was what have I been dreaming about, wanting to do, and just haven't done? What am I sitting on, and why? And the indication is, give yourself permission to make a change and move, right? So again, what I've been dealing with, it was kind of stagnation in the last few weeks, and giving myself permission to say, you know what, I'm done sitting around thinking about it. Go, move, right? Make it happen. And this has everything to do with passion and inspiration. Again, the Knight of Swords was about making a quick decision. The Knight of Wands is about being inspired and moving on that inspiration.
Wow. So that's okay. Sorry, there's nobody there. Saw someone, but there was nobody there. That just happens every now and then. That's interesting, right? So I love that we get a little bit of an opportunity, because we have a little bit of extended time to have a little bit more conversation around some of these things. And so the idea of what you're saying to me is, here's what I hear. I believe there is no manifesting without action.
Yes.
Right? There is no poof. And so this is a reminder that just because you build it doesn't mean they will come.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
You need to go and you need to do what you're going to do. That's really, it's really interesting, and I think a little bit timely as it relates to the show. And whether you were reading for the show or you weren't, it's not relevant to me, because I feel like when you get information like this, you can apply it in many ways. But we have decided to take this action, right? To
change the format.
I almost was going to say minimize, and that's not what I meant, but to change the format of the show to make it a little bit more digestible, so people don't look at it and say, oh my gosh, an hour, I don't have an hour. So to give people the opportunity to say, 20 minutes. So, and we decided that last week, and instead of sitting back as we are wont to do, you and I,
dallying, worrying,
we just did it. And so I feel like, in addition to whatever you were reading for, that I think that you got some validation that because we've done that, and I want to share this with the folks, part of Does It Resonate With You is the transparency that we don't know everything. We're telling you what resonates with us. And maybe if you and I go back in a year and listen to the first show, what resonated with us then may not be the same thing at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I find for myself, and I've always said that I will continue to do this show no matter what. I don't really care. I want people to love it. I want people to listen to it, but I love doing it. So to me, that's a big part of what it is. And it's therapy, and it's learning, and it's school, and it's wisdom, and it's teaching, and it's all those things, without considerable drain on any resources.
Right.
So
it's amazing we can do this with,
I know, right?
yeah. How,
I mean, I think probably if we threw something behind it, we'd probably be able to push it further. But I'm happy with right now that it's,
Mhm.
it's just time. It's
Yeah.
like coffee,
Yeah.
which actually we used to have we used to have a show called Coffee Talk. So
Oh, cool.
that was something that I used to do.
Huh.
And that kook used to wear those glasses just like that woman on. And anyway, okay, moving on,
Right.
because we've got a few minutes left, so I'd like you to go for your mantra, and then we want to tell people about our surprise.
Okay. So there's a nice two or three word phrase that describes this card pretty well. And I really like this: whooshing to your success. Whooshing,
Ooh,
right?
whoosh!
Yes. And that's got the feeling of
I
passion
love a
and energy.
whoosh.
It's not a
Yes.
quick decision making. It's like whooshing to your success. So that's what I remember when I think about this card.
Oh, that's interesting. It's interesting that you brought up the not a quick decision making, because I think a lot of people think they need to make snap decisions to move quickly, and that's not really what you're talking about here.
That's not this card. Nope.
You're
Fast
talk you're
decisions is the
talking
other
about
one.
you're talking about making the decisions, taking the time to understand the decision and making the decision, not not making a rash decision or making a rash. Wow,
Yep.
brilliant. Anyway, sorry,
No, that's fine.
but you can still have whoosh.
Yes.
You can act
Whooshing to
faster.
your success.
Fantastic.
Let me bring up real quick the shadow side of this card. So when this card is overdone, when you've got too much of this energy, it's going to be unfocused energy, fire emotions, recklessness, and then sometimes even self-sabotage, right? You're just kind of all over the place and you're not really focusing your energy. You're making a mess. So that's the shadow side. But on the good side, the charisma, passion, spontaneity, and whooshing to your success it's a very nice card to have.
Well, that's amazing. And the truth of the matter is there's an awful lot of self-sabotage out there. I mean, I'm guilty of it my own self, right? Like first 5 years of my marriage, I tried to get my husband to leave. I did everything I could to get him to leave because that's what I was used to. He's still here and it's almost 30 years. But I mean, so there is that, right? But that's an ego thing, right? If you
Right.
can transcend the ego and get the ego out of the way for a while, maybe you have a fighting chance of understanding what really makes you tick and how to navigate that world in a way that whoosh doesn't need to be scary,
Yeah. The whoosh
right?
doesn't need to be so scary.
Right?
That's
Whoosh
well
doesn't need
said.
to be scary. Now, speaking of whoosh, we're going to whoosh right into our surprise because we're almost at the end of the show. I love that we got 2 cards in, by the way, so we'll be able to get through the deck a little quicker and do a few other things. But y'all know, you've heard us say, does it resonate with you.com. You can go there and you can watch the shows, and there's information about the two of us and how to connect with us and everything. But we have decided that we are going to put tarot spreads, card spreads on the website. We're going to put them on every month. So the first ones are going to be there in September. We're going to do one on the 1st of the month, and then we'll release a second one on the 15th of the month. And we're looking at other ways to sort of help you really navigate with the cards and the oracle and the tarot, and give you some really so September is going to be kind of just our base spreads. For me, that's overview, action, challenge. And for you, John?
So my standard spread is the first 2 cards are what's working for you or working against you, and then the most likely outcome. I also have a spirits card and another future card that I sometimes add.
Okay, great. So these are 2 very basic readings for getting information.
Yep.
But we're also going to work together and we're going to come up with spreads that are going to have, how to get information from the angels and what your guides want to tell you. And, as it relates to your health or as it relates to relationships, your business. So we're going to do that. There'll be 2 spreads a month on the 1st and the 15th. Maybe we'll do a special Halloween on the 31st.
Absolutely.
connect to loved ones or something, right? Because the
Right.
veil's pretty thin on Halloween. So, get information from the loved ones. I mean, we're good at a spirit oracle, right? We
Yeah.
do oracle seance. So it's probably time to do one of those again too.
True.
Anyway, so the show, September 1st, that's Friday, which you guys know that we record them ahead of time. And the spread will be available on doesitresonatewithyou.com on that day. Go there, check it out, and you'll be able to read the cards in the order that we do. So the first one that will be there will be mine, and that will be Overview Action Challenge, and I'll tell you all about how that works. So,
Perfect.
wow. This has been so cool, John. Like,
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoys it. Thank you all. And again, we go over by a minute. Thank you all for listening this far. And please, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.